Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Todd Bartos.
Hey, good
What's
morning.
up, Todd? Yeah, they were shooting people, making them fight, the gladiator fights, right?
All that kind of stuff. Correct.
Yeah.
So I never dealt with any of those guys. So I don't know how those guys would have been treated. I would think that those guys, obviously, when they go SNY or PC, whatever you want to call it, from a guard standpoint, you're like, whatever, man, you're just doing time, whatever. You know what I mean? But dirty cops or somebody like that, they're not liked. They're going to be treated like shit by the staff. And the fact that you're a cop, inmates are going to hate your guts too. So you're in a pretty fucked situation.
Yeah. You're getting hate from all ends.
Right. One of the famous ones we had, and again, remember, like I told you, a lot of guys didn't go PC right off the bat. They'd go general population. We had a guy years ago out here in California that he was a photographer and he killed an Oakland Raiders cheerleader. He was doing a photo shoot with her.
I remember that when he ran her over, right?
Mm-hmm. All that shit, right? That guy lands at CSB SAC in New Folsom. They even told him when he first landed, do you want to go to SNY? Your crime is not going to be very popular with the fellas. He goes, no, I'm good. I'm going to do that. He lasted a day.
They didn't kill him, right?
No. They didn't get a chance to kill him, but they got him good.
What about Danny Masterson? What do you think his stay's like now?
Again, things have changed, right? Cameras inside prisons, everybody being able to talk, high profile. He's getting punked. He's paying a lot of money for protection. I guarantee you, everybody around him, their canteen is way up, and he's ordering packages in your name, or you're getting a package in your name that he's paying for.
Yeah,
guaranteed. It's not pleasant, and they'll use and abuse him. But when that money runs out, I mean, look what happened to Gotti. He was in there. He was using the Aryan Brotherhood for a while for protection. All of a sudden he thought he doesn't need them anymore. He got. All right, what do I owe you guys?
Yeah, he's paying them. Every month, I heard.
Yeah, big money.
Was there a lot of big names from the Aryan Brotherhood in the prisons you were in?
Yeah, I've dealt with, especially being a SAC in High Desert. High Desert, you got to realize, for a long time there, we were the reception center for Butte County, Shasta County, Trinity, Siskiyou, all majority white people. You know what I mean? The population of whites. So having that in most prison, it's the highest population is going to be African Americans. Then you're going to have Hispanics, and then whites, kind of the minority next to like others, Asians, Indian, Native Americans, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But at High Desert, we had a very big white car, and there was a lot of up and comers through that. And like I said, the one guy that I told you about that, just got his, Shamrock made it through the brand. I remember him when he just started. There's quite a few of them. I mean, the USAS, United States Skins, basically started at High Desert State Prison. So we had a lot of the big name players when it came to the white gangs that came through there. All the ones that you see right now in that RICO thing that's going on in Sacramento that went through with the drug stuff and everything, all those guys have been in and out of High Desert. So we've dealt with them.
So there was a lot of racial things going on. You were under investigation, right?
A lot. Excessive use of force, alleged, unnecessary force and excessive use of force. Yeah.
So they call you in to a
interview.
And what happens during the interview?
It's a trip, right? So I was one of those guys that I didn't like having a union rep with me, and I didn't ever have an attorney with me. Even one time I was accused of a homicide. And even then I had the union lawyer come down before my interview, and I'm sitting out waiting to go in. And he goes, "Hey, are you Todd Bartos?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I'm so-and-so." I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" He goes, "I'm your attorney." I go, "I didn't hire you." And he goes, "Well, no, the union CCPOA hired me because you're going in." I go, "I don't want you." And he goes, "You're under investigation for homicide." "Yeah, I don't want you." He goes, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" "I don't know, man, go get something to eat." Because I didn't want to explain myself to somebody else, and I didn't want somebody else fighting my battle for me. I knew what I did. I knew what I did right or wrong, whatever the case may be, but I had to own that. I was my own fucking man. they actually ended up respecting that. So I had a guy from internal affairs who'd investigated me several times, big black dude, right? The respect level got to a point where at the end of an interview one time, he was asking me, he goes, hey, you're a straight shooter. You come in here with no representation. Can I ask you a question off the record? Shoot, man. He goes, you guys are accused up here being white, predominantly white, that you guys are racist. We had OIA, OIG interviews saying that culture of racism, you know, prison's a microcosm of society. That time BLM was starting up, all that kind of stuff. So we flat out asked, do you guys use the N-word up here as much as you're accused of using? And I'm thinking about it for a second. I'm like, how do I want to answer this? And I go, yeah, we use that N-word every day. And his eyes get big. He kind of goes back like, he can't believe I'm saying this to him. I go, but it's not the N-word that you think. The N-word that we tell them, that we say all the time, is no. High Desert was one of the last prisons that still didn't give in. We weren't weak. We were known for that. We got the garbage inmates sent to us. Like other prisons would have a dude that they had a problem with, and they'd be like, oh, we got something for you. We're sending you up to High Desert. We were kind of out of the way. We were outside of Sacramento. I'm not saying we operated outside of the rules or anything like that, but we were strict. We followed stuff. We weren't under that scrutiny all the time. So we weren't afraid to say no. As soon as I tell an inmate no, especially a black, that's when I'm a blue-eyed devil. I got short man's complex, fuck your mama, fuck your family, you know, all that kind of shit. You know, if I would have called them the real N-word, they wouldn't have given it. As long as I was giving it to them, if I gave them what he wanted, they wouldn't care. For instance, you know, you're walking the tier in AvSeg. Some cops pass things, some cops don't. Okay. You'd have a Southerner or a white that would hit you up and go, hey, CO, what's on, man? Hey, man, can you pass for me? I don't pass. Okay. No harm, no foul. The guy asked, doesn't hurt him to ask. I tell him no. He just turns around and walks away, doesn't start talking shit, doesn't do that. Walk up to a black guy cell. Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy. Hey, how much do you bench? Hey, you want creatine? What kind of stuff you doing out there? You know, so what do you want, man? Hey, man, can you pass this to my homeboy? No. Fuck you. Like that. You know what I mean? And that's where, you know, that came from, the no. And I even told that guy that. And as soon as I told that guy that, man, when I tell him no is when I'm the bad guy. Up until then, they don't care. You could see like the light bulb flash above his head because, you know, he had done time as a cop and he's like, I get it. You know, because him being black, how many times do you think the blacks pulled the brother card on him? Oh, hey, homeboy. Hey, brother, can you do this for me? And as soon as you tell him no, now he's an Uncle Tom. Now he's this. Now he's the man. He's a slave to the man. Whatever they want to do to put you down.
I mean, some of the prisons are majority black. So, I mean, it has its areas in different parts of the country, right?
Which I've heard that too. So it's kind of funny that they put High Desert as, oh, we were racist because we're predominantly white. I've heard from others, and again, this is rumors, okay? So I wasn't there, so I didn't see it. So I hate to spread rumors, because just like I would hate to have somebody who's never been at High Desert say that, oh, I heard it's fucking racist up there, okay? But I've heard of other prisons where it's predominantly South or, you know, Hispanics, so they run it a certain way. I've heard of prisons where they have segregated parking lots for staff. There are yards where one guy actually told me that there was a yard at Solano, I believe it was, that had a black captain, black lieutenant, black sergeants, predominantly black staff. And if you were a white officer, you were not welcome to be around there.
And is that okay? I mean,
it's not okay. But again, was I there? I don't know. So it could be bullshit. Okay. I'll flat out say that. I want to put that disclaimer out there. I don't want to start bad mouthing something that I wasn't a part of or I didn't see. But again, at High Desert, you know, when they were saying that we were racist and all that kind of stuff, man, when it came to the cops and stuff, we never did. You know, I worked with homosexual officers. I've worked with female officers, Hispanic, black, everybody. We were wearing green. You could watch us when we were hitting the gate. It didn't matter who you. And would we talk shit? Would we tell racial jokes towards each other? 100%, man. We would fuck with each other and laugh, and it was all good natured. You know what I mean? Nobody, you know. But I mean, there's one officer, you know, homosexual. I didn't even know he was gay. Okay. We're talking about, one of my other partners was talking about painting his walls. And I was like, hey, are you doing different colors? We're separate. And he goes, yeah. I go, man, what a pain in the ass that is. I go, it always seems to leak through, with the masking tape. He goes, well, I used pretty good tape. I go, no, after I did mine, it still leaked through. I was like, what the fuck? I go, a professional painter told me you got to use caulk, to put on there. He goes, well, what would you use? Clear or white? I go, I guess clear. I don't know. I didn't. So this other cop goes, man, you got to watch out for that black caulk because it'll fuck you up, and we're all kind of laugh. And I'm like, what? And he goes, you didn't know his homeboy was gay? I'm like, I didn't know. We didn't care, man. We didn't care. If you're not making your business anybody else's business, and when I mean at your business, like you're not trying to push your agenda on anybody, nobody cared, man. Nobody cared. We were all there to look out for each other. It was really sad for me when they tried to make it that way, that we were this negative. Because again, man, most guards, they just want to do their fucking job, man. They got families. It's just a job. Again, you've touched on it before. Were there some of those assholes that wanted to fuck with people and there were dickheads, whatever their issue, small dicks, got picked on their whole lives?
Yeah, tossing cells, throwing their shit on the ground.
Dude, I never did that. I hated that shit. Some inmate would piss you off and you're going to go up and tear up his cell. Ooh, you're a fucking tough guy. I was the guy who'd get in your face. If you and I had a problem, it was that. And my thing was, I didn't care about Pruno. I didn't give a fuck about tattoo guns. I didn't give a shit about any of this. My biggest issue was respect. If somebody came at me wrong or disrespect, and again, my partners, man, if you're a grown-ass man and somebody disrespects you, step up, man. Show them what you got. I'm not here to protect you. If it was a female staff member or female guard, yeah, there was a little different. My social mores are, you don't talk to a woman like that. You don't disrespect a woman like that.
Okay? It would happen a lot, right? With women?
Not that much. I mean, honestly, man, back in more so again, it came with the SNY and PCs because they had nobody to answer to. The general population, you never really dealt with that, man. They were, and again, level 4, man, these guys were pretty hardcore, and there was a certain degree of respect. So would it happen? Yeah, 100%. Did it happen a lot? It really wasn't, and I'm grateful for that.
Was there ever a code called? You guys are all running to the code, and maybe one of the cops was like, "Well, I ain't getting involved with this shit."
Those were the guys that would talk big shit before things would go down. And those are the guys that would tell, man, I can't wait to get into my first fight, or I can't wait to do this, and I can't wait to do that. And then that alarm hits and we're all responding. You're like, hey, where's the tough guy at? Where's that guy at? He didn't even fucking show up. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed
to. He's got an excuse, yeah. It's usually how it goes.
100%. 100%. And again, we saw it and we punked them out. And make no mistake, the convicts and the inmates saw it. They knew who was a punk and who was willing to fight. And again, your reputation is everything. Did I have to fight a few times? Yeah. But once you got that reputation that you didn't fuck with people for no reason, but if you called me out, I would be the one to do it. I didn't have to fight anymore. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, you get some knucklehead if he was maybe drunk or if he was high or whatever like that. But I never got assaulted like that. I never had anybody, like you asked earlier about, because I never had anybody throw a piss and shit on me because I didn't carry myself that way. I wasn't.
Have you seen other cops getting assaulted?
Oh yeah. I mean, you would. You know what I mean? Like I said, that one guy, that big story with that, and there's guys that would push it, and stuff like that, and the guys would
slip their cuffs a lot.
Slip their cuffs or turn on, but it's the reality of these guys know it's really a no-win situation. You could turn on a cop and get it, but you're going to get yours. At the end of the day, we've got the numbers, in that regard. And it would go bad. But yeah, there was a few times. And a lot of times what you'd see more so with the assault on staff, if we had back in the day when you had the big prison riots and race against race, there's certain races that knew that, because with inmates, we had to play by rules as officers, guards, whatever you want to call it. And the inmates didn't. So if you're in a group that knows how to make weapons, that loves to use weapons, and is going to make an example out of you, is going to go after you when those doors open, hey man, I'm gonna whack fucking Bartos because yeah, I might get my ass kicked by 3 or 4 guards afterwards, but at least they're not shanking me. So we call them PC move.
Oh, they would do something deliberately so they get taken out.
Yeah.
And
Or
you
if
said
they owed, or if they owed drug debts, or if they owed gambling debts, they would do that. So
yeah.
that's when a lot of those was the one-on-one, you pissing me off, me talking shit to you, and you deciding to take off on me. It wasn't as common. That other stuff was a lot more common for staff assaults.
You said you worked as the gun tower.
Yeah, I was a gunner.
Did you ever shoot at anyone or shoot anyone?
Not with the Mini 14, with the less lethal stuff, with the block guns. Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
So what would happen? Something would pop off, a fight. Like
Yeah.
what's walk me through what happens when a code calls? Like what
Okay,
happens? You
so
see a melee.
I never had anything on the big main yard. Mine was always the concrete yard in Ad Sag. So back then you'd have the Southerners and the whites were on a concrete yard together. Blacks and Northerners were on a concrete yard together. So the whites and the Southerners were constantly cleaning house back there. You know, you'd show up, you know, back then you'd have committee on Thursday. Whites and Southerners had yard on Friday. You'd get cleared for yard. If you were no good, if you came off the yard, you know, with bad stuff, you know, that you got sent to the hole because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, or you had to check in because you'd been fucking up or whatever, and word came from the big homies that this guy was no good. Oh, that's where they were getting you, man. They would get him out on the yard. So you're watching yard, and it was always after workout. You know, they do the workout, get the guy good and tired. Guy would walk over to the drinking fountain, and you'd watch the other guy. You know, and these guys were pretty good about not telegraphing it. But dude, you're watching 20 guys on the yard. If you're missing it, you're asleep. And with certain groups, they were loud and obnoxious. Like blacks and Northerners never really took off. Your yard fights were pretty rare, so you could kind of you could kind of lose focus a little bit with your whites and Southerners. That 3 hours that they were on that yard, you were watching every fucking move, every step of the way, because you never knew. They would look for you to slip up one time, you know. And they had one incident where the female staff, she was the gunner, she basically fell asleep up there, and they gutted a dude. She wakes up, and there's a dude laid out in the middle of the fucking concrete yard with blood. They basically woke her up to tell her that that was there. And the homeboy even told her, he goes, bitch, you're fucked, you know, because it was on camera. It was on camera, not her. You couldn't see her on camera, but you could see the yard on camera. Like, dude, how the hell, like, what is the gunner doing if this guy's getting whacked this whole time? And her excuse was she was stretching. Well, the only thing she was stretching was the truth.